told you I'm divinely delusional.
So in order to feel that feeling that you want to feel, you have to go through the journey of creating that feeling. Because part of that feeling is the fact that you journeyed to making that feeling, to getting to that place, that you were once somewhere that was not as reflective of your true inner strength and inner state of being. And you've gone through the journey of creating that environment and seeing how the timeline has played out for you fully, to where now you have all of the things that you always felt you would have and do have internally. It's like getting the thing. Part of getting the thing is the journey of it. The best way to get through that journey with enjoyment is to not worry about when it's going to come, when the change is going to happen, how it's going to happen. Insert book. Don't ask how, just know it's mine now. Don't ask how, just know it's mine now. I'ma live my truth as living proof of my divine vow. Yes, sir. Yeah, but dead ass. And you know what's funny? I came to this thought thinking about anime. Bro, anime be spitting bars, my nigga. Off of everything it do, you feel me? Like, see the funny thing is that this whole message that I'm saying coming from anime could go multiple ways. Because I was thinking of it in the sense of, all right, so I'm watching Naruto, and I went through the 200 episodes, and I'm thinking Shippuden is gonna be, maybe just somewhere, if anything, just about the same amount. But no, this shit is 500 episodes, and I'm like, shit. And like now that I started watching it, when I see people referencing it, I'm like, I want to get to those moments in the show that are these excitable moments for the people who are fans of the show. Now that I started watching it, the point of me saying the thing with moments being that, creating that moment is the journey to it, is because like watching it, people that are fans, so the same way that I know with Dragon Ball, like there are certain moments that really stick out, not just because they were cool in that moment, though obviously they were, but also because you're watching all of that way leading up to, what happens that adds to the story. And then also though, that is definitely embedded into the show with the characters and how they develop. They often reflect through their stories and their growth, and like that adds to it. Every time that they're in a fight, they're like, it adds to their like strength. There's like all of these moments that I've experienced and gone through, things I've had to overcome. Like, as so when you get to those moments, realize those are moments along the way. So just cherish every moment like it's a new fucking power up. Like, cherish every moment like it's a new fucking power up. Like, if I got anything else, might as well while I'm here. Okay, so when it comes to interacting with people, if it's someone that is weak and fragile, I cannot interact with you heavily. I can't have a close relationship with you because I've cultivated strength in myself. And trying to give strength to someone who hasn't cultivated strength within themselves is going to be useless, because they're not going to know what to do with strength because it's unfamiliar to them. It's only going to be something that they know how to utilize and acknowledge and place value on once they have created and cultivated it within themselves. Yeah. I was just to add, I'm not sure why we so heavily have a society that harps on being stagnant, being easily manipulated. And by that, I mean there's a strong lack of hope. and that prevents growth. But there are things that you can literally choose to move through life in a different way, and yet people would rather continue to choose the thing that is preventing them from growing. And I'm not really sure why that feels good, but me personally, I don't enjoy it. If it is something that is going to hinder my growth, if it is a belief that is going to not allow me to move forward with love, I am not going to subscribe to it. I would much rather prefer to choose something that is going to be helping me to grow towards the reality that I would want, not something that is just easy to go along with because it's the experiences you've had in the past. If I went one day without eating food, and because of that day of not eating food, I decided to believe that I was never going to be able to eat food again, wouldn't that seem pretty silly? Wouldn't that seem pretty foolish? Just because I had one day that I didn't have food, now I'm just going to believe that I'm never going to have food again. But instead, think about it. When you go a day without eating food, typically you're looking forward to more food coming. It would be more helpful for your mental health to be hopeful that food is coming along the way than for you to just think that you're going to starve for the rest of your life. And so all you do is trap your mind in negativity and attract negativity and attract struggle and suffering when you believe that suffering is all you'll ever get because you have experienced pain in the past, rather than experiencing pain and learning from it so that you don't experience that same pain again, so that you can be hopeful that you will see better days ahead. I'd rather look forward to growth than choose to live in suffering. All right, I saw something talking about, the post said, are you healed or are you just isolated with no one to trigger you or with no trigger or something like that, right? And like definitely that's a good question to ask. The only hang up I had with the wording is like I'll see people say like, oh, being fully healed. And I'm like, it's a couple levels to it in my view. It's like, for one, to me, I started to say, I said, I would say that you are fully healed once you are fully committed to the journey of healing. And also that once you are fully committed to the journey of healing, you're fully healed. In that sense, to say that it's also not to say that you're never fully healed, but that healing is an ongoing journey. For one, simply because once you heal something that has wounded you, and you take that journey, you're going to keep going on through life and then have different experiences from the new perspective of you being healed from. You see what I'm saying? So you might be in a situation, you let go of it, you heal from it, and then you might come across a situation again that is similar, but now you're experiencing that situation with a whole new perspective, right? From someone that's healed from something in the past. So now when you deal with that situation, it's a whole different thing, right? And it may or may not wound you again, but even if it does, the healing is a whole different thing and it doesn't take as long. It's not as tedious, right? Or you might get to the point where like you experience it in a very subtle way and it doesn't really wound you much. It's just like, okay. But regardless, either way, now you're in a new perspective and you're going to go through life experiencing things that you wouldn't have been able to experience if you didn't heal from whatever things in your past. But now there are new things that you don't have experience in that may even if it doesn't wound you, even if your experiences don't, you know what I'm saying, like cause some kind of something for you to heal, it's like it can show you different things about yourself. You know, like it's like you uncover when you're healing, you uncover, you know, those wounds that have been kind of covered up deeply, right? But then once you uncover those things, it's like those things coming up to the surface now allow you to learn different things about yourself. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, say you, and this is not necessarily like healing related, but just a metaphor. Like, say there was a food you didn't like before, you know, years past, and then something happened where something was going on with your health, and the doctor recommended, hey, you should eat this food. All right, so you start eating this food, then you come to like the food. You're like, oh, okay. Like because of something else, happening, it helps you discover something new. And then within liking that food, then maybe, you know what I'm saying, that food leads you to like, oh, I like the food being cooked this way or seasoned this way, or eating it with some other food, and it was some other food that you liked, and now when you eat it together it makes it even better. Or like there was some other food that you didn't like, but when you eat it with this other food that you now like, you know what I'm saying, like it's the healing is always a journey, right? Because there's always going to be new experiences in life. But also, even if you just put it into levels of like, all right, the beginning of the journey is maybe accepting that you have some shit that you need to heal, right? And then next is the deep dive, the connection with self, and uncovering all of that shit that's been covered up, right? Bringing it up to the surface. And then next you'll say dealing with it and healing from it, right? And then that last step, the growth. If you put it into those levels like that, the growth, that last step is forever. like the growth is forever. So that's why it's like the healing journey, it's a lifelong journey. It's not something where you would say, oh, I'm fully healed, but it's also not something that you would necessarily look at and think like, oh, I'll never be healed from all this stuff. Like, no, you'll heal from certain things and then continue to grow. Because it's like, right, you heal and then you grow. And as you grow, that pushes you into new experiences, that pushes you to taking new risks that you wouldn't have taken before. And with risk and with growth, with trying new things, there's going to be failures, there's going to be mishaps, right? Missteps, right? Because you're in spaces that you've never been in before, and those things might wound you in some kind of way, shape, or form that you have to heal from, right? Or those missteps, those risks you take, show you something new about yourself, and then it allows you to deal with what's there and grow from it. So going back to the right. So going back to the like original thing of, oh, are you fully healed, or are you healed, or are you just isolated without any triggers? It's like, it's a good question in the sense of you can't know how much progress, you can't fully know how much progress you've made in a certain area until you like retest, right? It's like, say you go and take a test, you fail it, Okay, bet. You go and study, and you're like, all right, yeah, I really know some information now, but until you get that test again and take the test and see if you can pass the test, will you know how much progress you've made, right? So, but at the same time, definitely like when you took the test the first time and you failed it, you probably knew that you didn't know, or shit, maybe you didn't know that you didn't know the information, but but you also knew. It's like either you're going into that test with like good confidence, like, hey, I really know this, or you're kind of just, it's like a shoulder shrug. You're like, I mean, I feel like I know some of it, but I don't know how well. You know what I'm saying? So you might not go into the which sometimes definitely you go into the test if you're enough self-aware enough. You go into the test like, shit, I don't know none of this shit. I'm about to just guess, my nigga, and figure it out later, right? It could be that, or it could just be like, I know a little bit, I don't know, right? But then once you go in and when you take the test and you fail and you're like, all right, fuck, I gotta study this shit for real. Then now when you're approaching the next test, you know that, like, you know the information well. Now, you might not know it as well as you think you know it, depending on, you know what I'm saying, when you go and take the test and see your results. But you know that you sat and studied with it, right? Like, so that in that metaphor, you could say that's like, okay, prior to recognizing there was things you needed to heal, you didn't know, you weren't as aware of these things that you needed to heal. But now that you've taken the time and sat with them, even if you were isolated, you sat with them and dealt with them, you know now, like, I have dealt with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even if you now get exposed to something that's going to trigger you, and it triggers you more, or your response or your reaction to it is different than what you would expect based on the amount of time you took sitting with certain shit, even if that happens, you still are more aware, and to me, I would say more healed than before, because you sat and dealt with the issues. Even if you haven't made the progress that you might think you have made, you still made some kind of progress. And regardless, any progress is good progress, you know what I'm saying? Because once you've dealt with those things and a situation comes along again that would trigger you had you not dealt with the things, even if you're triggered by it, you're still, it's still a whole new perspective. And I've said this before, when you sit with yourself and learn yourself and gain discernment, right? You can now see the difference in the experience compared to before, when you weren't as aware of what it was you were dealing with. Now you get into that experience, you're like, yep, that's what that is. And you've already done some work there, and now you can easily go back and say, okay, this is like the last bit of whatever I need to do. You know what I mean? It's like before you write an essay and you're trying to look for a topic, right? You don't know what you want to research. Then you start to do the research and you write a rough draft. And then you write that rough draft and then you go back over it and you make all your marks and your edits. And now you can create a final draft, which, you can continue to repeat that process over and over again. There's always going to be new research. There's always going to be new information. There's always going to be things that you can improve upon, right? Or you know what I'm saying, start a new research paper on a different topic, right? So to say something in a way of like, are you healed? I think it can lend to self-sabotaging thoughts if you felt like, you put in a lot of work, right? You're dealing with this thing. You're like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to run from this anymore. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to sit with my thoughts. I'm going to reflect, journal, meditate, all these things. and then something comes along and, it triggers you and you feel like, oh, you're right back, from day one, like as if you didn't do anything, you didn't deal with it at all. That can lead to self-sabotage, because just because of the fact that it triggered you again, you'll feel like, damn, I didn't do anything. Like I made no progress. And that can be very harmful to your confidence in your ability to heal. It can be harmful to how you feel about the work that you've done to heal. It can be self-sabotaging in the sense of making you feel like all the work that you've put in was just pointless and useless, and you might as well just not even do it at all. But if you look at it from a standpoint of like, hey, I've gained some things, and yeah, sure, there are some things still that I need to work on, but I've definitely made progress. If you're not able to see the positive results of the negative experience, then you're not going to continue to seek the growth from it. You're going to just say, well, that was useless. That was a waste of my time. Never doing that shit again. Like, so that's why I feel like you gotta be able to see that you are continuously healing, and know that healing is not linear. So you might get hurt by something, but it's not at the same, it's no two, they say no two experiences are exactly alike, right? Even if it's something similar, unless you're able to see the differences, then you're gonna get stuck in self-sabotage, in thinking that you've made no progress and that anything you do is pointless, and you're just going to be hurt and experiencing trauma forever. So definitely, when you look at healing like that, it has a possibility of being disarming. Now, depending on your point of view of it, you definitely can ask yourself that question and say, okay, bet I'm going to, now go out into the world and, take whatever risk I feel like I want to take, and then assess your reaction to whatever things that might have triggered you in the past, or, what I'm saying, and it allows you to see what kind of progress you've made. But that's only helpful when you've already cultivated a mindset of being able to see the positive aspects of a negative experience. So it just depends, but and yeah, you could say that developing that mindset of positivity is, a part of the measuring stick for healing. But not everyone heals the same. Not everyone heals at the same rate, or on the same timeline, or in the same ways, or with the same methods. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need that time to just be isolated and do as much healing as possible before going out and experiencing things that may trigger you. And even sometimes you need to do that, go through all of that in the sense of healing, and then get triggered again, just so that you can then, like, and however many times that takes, but so that you can then utilize that experience to develop the mindset of seeing the positive and the negative. And yeah, sometimes that don't happen right away. Sometimes that shit takes a while. They talk about the, like I said, karmic experiences or karmic cycles, where you're gonna keep receiving that lesson until you learn. And sometimes universe got to get creative and go and throw you the same energy of that experience in different forms, in different ways, different styles. We gotta switch it up, keep you on your toes. So yeah, I think it's just once you say and like have it really in your mind that you are going to continue healing no matter what, you're fully healed. You know what I'm saying? But also that you're only fully healed once you're committed to continuing along a journey of continuously healing. So, like it's kind of just a double-edged thing in the sense of like it's kind of like I said, it sounds like a more negative connotation when you say basically you're going to be healing forever because it sounds like, oh well, I'm never gonna be free of things, right? Gonna be free of like trauma or pain or whatever. But for one, if you are able to approach healing as something that is a journey and is something that is going to add happiness to your life, you can even look at healing as simply just being happy. So imagine if you said, look at the difference when you say, oh, you're going to be healing forever, or you say you're going to be being happy. I don't know how to. Imagine saying, but the difference that you hear between you're going to be healing forever, and you'll be happy forever. You know what I'm saying? Like second one sound, okay, I like that, right? But see, then that could be misleading because saying that you're going to be happy forever, that don't mean that you're just going to experience nothing but pleasure. You'll still experience pain. You'll still experience things that are not what you wanted, but attaining happiness is something that you cultivate from within, and it's something that you cultivate. I personally feel like that you cultivate happiness through being able to find your way to happiness in every situation. But that does not mean trying to ignore pain and only seeking pleasure, but being able to navigate your way through difficult experiences to happiness every single time, and not giving up on that journey and that pursuit of happiness. We all know that song. Okay. The song, the movie, whatever you want to go, right? It's that not giving up type shit. And this is part of why I fuck with anime so hard, why I use anime for references with Divinely Delusional, because like 99% of animes, it's like the spirit, like the theme of anime is like, don't give up, persevere, go on this journey to, continue to grow and get stronger. I saw a post that was talking about, the differences between, it was like, talking about anime, talking about Dragon Ball Z is like, keep working hard and surpass your limits, right? It's like, man, my guy Goku, man, he's like, fuck it, I don't care how strong I am now. I'm gonna keep getting stronger. I'm gonna continue to get stronger and stronger every day. I'm gonna continue to grow, and I'm gonna know that it's the love and connection I have with my friends that pushes me to get stronger, and I'm going to know that I'm going to cherish them because they help me along the way. Even if I'm the strongest out of all of them, I know that they are there for me, right? And so that's why I'm there for them. And I'm going to utilize that connection of love. See, and that's another thing, man. People don't acknowledge how strong love is. People think love make you weak. Nah. Because love is such a vulnerable thing to do. And when you can stand tall and stand strong in love, in the middle of love, when you can feel all your feelings and still thug it out, my guy. You know what I mean? When you can wear your heart on your sleeve and not let nobody rip that shit off of you, that's when you strong. That's when can't nobody fucking touch you, bro. That's how you get strong. That's how you grow. when you can say, I'm gonna lay all my cards on the table and ain't shit you could do about it, right? You talk about you talk about athletes like Kobe, where he's like they was talking about like, yeah, he'll tell you exactly what he's gonna do, and then he'll do it in your face like you can't do nothing about it. Come on, man. That's how you go strong. And you know why a person can talk like that? It's because it's something that they're passionate about, and they put in that time to working on it. They were committed. They've been committed. I mean, Kobe talked about, oh, I didn't get invited to parties, I didn't go out to the clubs. I was just in the gym shooting. You know what I mean? Shooting. So like, you gotta look at that shit. You gotta look at healing, the healing journey like that. I ain't out here ignoring my shit or numbing my shit. I'm in the crib, healing, growing. You know what I mean? You feel me? I mean, not to say that you gotta be in the crib to heal and grow, but like, you see, like, you know, so and speaking on like Goku, like I said, like he uses that connection of the love of his friends to make him stronger. You know what I'm saying? You talk about the spirit bomb. Oh, please feed me your energy, right? He may be the strongest one who can hold all of the energy from all his people, but he can't do it without, you know what I'm saying, having that connection with his people. You feel me? Like, you know, he utilizes that, and it's like, that shit makes you stronger. People think, you know, and of course, there's always the antagonist in anime where he's like, emotions are useless, love and friendship is dumb. And it's like, he'll get dummy strong, but of course, the protagonists, they always come out on top, because why? They sit and say, oh, it's friendship, love, you know, like, that ass though, because it's like, bro, like, that shit puts a different kind of will in you. So that's why when you have love for yourself, and you come across things that are trying to take that love of yourself away from you, your will is gonna win every time. When you listening to your heart, when you in tune with your heart, can't nobody stop you. Can't nobody stop you at all, ever. You know what I'm saying? Cause you step like you motherfucking stepping, okay? Like, you know what I mean? Put your heart on your sleeve and you gonna have some sauce in your step, okay? Like, who the fuck you talking about? Like, my heart right here, big dog. And I feel it every day. And ain't shit you can say, you know? Like, that's gonna make me turn away, you know? Like, no, I know who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying? When you know your heart, when you love yourself, you can look yourself in the mirror and you know exactly who the fuck you are. You know what I'm saying? You seeing your truest self. And you proud of who you seeing in the mirror. Damn straight. You like, good job, you. Good job, you. You done did the fucking work. Ain't shit nobody out here could tell you. Not a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? You realize how amazing you are. You realize there's a God in you. You realize all of the universe is in you. If you know what I'm saying? If you want to contact the shit that you want to contact, if you want to reach the shit that you want to reach, it's there. You got it. Ain't shit that you gonna feel like you can't do, because you love you. And that shit is the strongest shit ever, bro. No matter what people try to put on you, they try to say you're negative because you don't want to go along with their shit. They try to say you're difficult because you standing true to who you are. It won't matter. It's going to be like, damn, that's a disappointment, but fuck it. I can't betray myself, so we going to keep going. And the more and more I step into who I am, the more people will see who I am, and that will allow me to pull closer and closer the things that align and resonate with who I am. You see? You'll build the life that is meant for you. You'll have the people around you that are meant for you. You'll have all of the things that were meant for you. And you'll look, you'll look into the fucking stars when the shit all comes to fruition, and you'll say, didn't I fucking tell you? Didn't I fucking tell you? I told you, but you won't listen. You ain't see it. That's okay. You ain't believe it. That's okay. But now at the end of the day, I'm where I need to be, and you're where you at. You know, like, you know, and definitely, you know, to the people that you end up leaving behind, that's them being on their own journey. But I'll say one thing: the people who are aligned with what's in their heart and really just moving with that love in mind, they do not try to deter other people from living their truth. And that is why they're able to create boundaries and let people go, because it's like, listen, we're just not in alignment, and I'm going to live my truth, but I'm not going to impose my reality on yours, and I'm not going to allow you to impose on my reality. You know? What they say, do no harm but take no shit type vibes. You feel me? So, yeah. I ended up snapping on that a little bit. But man, yeah, don't mistake the healing journey as a destination. Know that it is a journey that is just the same as breathing every day is. You don't wake up today and you're like, okay, cool, I know how to breathe, and then and then just stop breathing the next day. No. You wake up, you breathe. You go to sleep, you breathe. You wake up, you breathe, and you just keep on doing that shit. It's the same shit with healing, same shit with growing. That's why I say, find your light, live your truth. Yes, sir.